Right, so it looks like we've got a lot of great guests with us tonight. I see lots of our current grade 10 students, 10th graders. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Thank you for being here tonight and taking initiative or charge of your own programs. We greatly appreciate that, your own education. A few parents I see in the audience as well. Thank you so much. Also, I'd like to welcome, we've got several teachers and administrators with us at the moment. Of course, Mr. Stocking, who will be starting here in just a minute, our current diploma program coordinator and global politics teacher, as well as a sports coach extraordinaire. We've also got Mr. Bennett Ott with us this evening, who is our current MYP coordinator, but also working with the diploma program next year. I see Miss Sarah Cornett, our visual arts teacher, out here tonight. I see Miss Emily Rowe, who's here as a parent, but is also one of our school counselors at school, and Mr. Michael Fisher, who will be our BGI director next year. So we've got lots of people here with us this evening and lots of families. So I do not need to stay on here too much longer. I think most of you know who I am. I am the current director of the 7th through 12th grade at the PGIA, the PGI director for this evening, but we'll be leaving this year and passing the torch over to Mr. Michael Fisher and Mr. Bennett Ott, who will be running the program next year. This evening, grade 10 students, hugely important for you to learn from Mr. Stocking about what this program is going to hold for you for the next 2 years and how you can be the utmost successful in the diploma program in your 11th and 12th grade years, and ask all of the questions and things you need about your course choices and the demands of the diploma program. So I'm going to go ahead without any further ado and turn the microphone over to Mr. Matt Stocking.
All right.
I shall
welcome everyone. First of all, I have to apologize a little bit. My neighbor is weed eating the I would say grass, but it's dirt at this point. So I'm not sure what is happening out there. So apologies for any if you can't hear me quite clearly. Okay. Welcome to tonight. Some opening remarks here about the goals for tonight and what we want to get out of this and the program itself. So I want to give everyone just a general overview of what the program is and some background information on that. You know, the general consensus is that it's a rigorous program. You'll hear that word, you know, a few times tonight, I'm sure. And sometimes grade 10 students going into grade 11 are a little bit scared or nervous or whatever. But, you know, the goal tonight is to provide some information. It's not to sell you on any, even though we started off with art there, it's not to sell you to make a certain choice. You choose whatever we have to offer, and hopefully we can provide it in a very nice way for you, and you'll get a lot out of it. So in general, to be successful in the diploma program, this is a really good quote here. Important achievements like the DP, like earning a diploma in the DP, which we'll talk about later, require a clear focus, all-out effort, and a bottomless trunk full of strategies. So we'll talk a little bit about this later too, but you go through the MYP and even before that, and you pick up your strategies that for learning that you use, right? And when you get to the DP program, now is the time to use those with a clear focus and all-out effort. If you give effort into this program, you will be successful. That's end of story. Like if you think you have a very low ability level, or aren't confident in a certain subject, or whatever the case might be, it does not matter. The IB has set this up in such a way as if you give effort, which is hard, but if you give effort, you will be successful. And then the last part of this quote is plus allies in learning, which is where your family comes into play and the school community here, right? So you're going to have your teachers to lean on through this. In the future, you're going to have Mr. Ott to lean on and Mr. Fisher as they come in. So learn early who your support system is and reach out to them often in order to be successful. So what we're going to go through tonight is all of this stuff here in the contents. Do not worry, I am going to share a PDF version of this presentation with you right after this orientation. And then we can always talk about things after that as well. So this is not going to be the last time you see this information. But just to give you an idea, we talk about the IB in general, moving from the MYP to the DP, the requirements of the DP program. We get into some class descriptions of what exactly we're going to offer next year. And then some final keys to success, and talk about the journey itself overall. Okay. And if you have any questions, please just unmute yourself, or maybe Mr. Rott, you can monitor the chat for us tonight. And that goes for Mr. Rott, Mr. Arpezi, Mr. Fisher. If you want to chime in at any point in time, please feel free. No problem at all. Okay. All right, the overall philosophy. It is important that we start with the philosophy of the IB in order to really understand what you're getting into here, okay? And at the heart of this, it is the programs encourage students to become active, compassionate, lifelong learners who understand that other people with their differences can also be right? That's a very profound statement, right? Very well crafted, and you can think about this in many different ways. But hopefully, families, you see that from the MYP program, which is an IB program, that your students are doing these things, right? Are compassionate, are lifelong learners, and they are open to hearing other opinions, which in our world is becoming increasingly important, right? Especially in the United States itself, as we tend to become more polarized politically. It is very important to understand that other people can be right. It's okay. And they have their opinions, no problem. It does offer all of these things, a breadth and balance. I think what Sai was just speaking to. You don't have to be an artist to go into this art program and it have an impact on your learning. Absolutely not. And that's kind of the goal in the IB education. You have to have a second language. That's a requirement. So there's a reason for that. You have to choose, all these out of all of these groups. So you can't just focus on 5 subjects of math, for example. I know everyone wants to do that, but it doesn't really work out that way. And it creates a more well-balanced individual in this way. And then the last bullet point I really want to point out there, the cycle of learning. Inquiry, action, reflection. Right? That's what it's all about. You've done this through your MYP experience. Started off with the inquiry, whether that happens from yourself or in class. Put some action into place with that, and then hopefully reflected upon that and learned how you can do things better, right? Same thing for the DP. It's just my advice to all of you grade 10 students is to really have a template for yourself, for your own. You can really make this happen because it's going to be coming at you pretty quick, okay? There's no breaks. And that's not, to scare you, it's to get you ready and to prepare you and to go in with the right mindset. Okay, I need to be on my game. I need to be ready to go. The IB learner profile. I'm going to turn this over to Mr. Ott for a few moments, and hopefully he can shed some light on the IB learner profile.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Stocking. And good evening, families. Good evening, students. I'm really excited to be here this evening to share some of these philosophical ideas and to be there learning about this journey as well. Right. So at the core of what happens in the International Baccalaureate programs, from the MYP to the DP, are these ideas called learner profile, of the learner profile traits that we seek to inspire and have our students aspire to embody. And these are the IB mission statement itself in action. That mission statement that Mr. Stocking had on the last slide. This is what it means in action. This is what it means to be a community of learners. And obviously at the heart of this is you, the student. That's the center of what we're doing. And the IB Learner Profile challenges you. It challenges you to strive to be something, more than we are today. We try to embody these as teachers, as leaders, and we ask and inspire you to do the same as students, right? And these learner profile traits, they help to promote inside of ourselves mindsets of tolerance and understanding, of inclusion, of aspiring to have well-being, physical, social, emotional, spiritual well-being, of being curious, of being empathetic towards the world around us, of being tolerant. And when we embody these as students, when we embody these as teachers and leaders, and we embody these in what we do as educators and in a community of learners like we are at PGIA, we create cultures of tolerance and understanding and inclusion. We create a culture where we promote well-being, curiosity, and empathy. And these help us to strive to develop ourselves as individuals, as that mission statement said, that are active, that are compassionate members of your local, of your regional, of your national, of your global communities, to be agents of change, to be agents of happiness and positivity in yourself and for others around you, in your school community, in your Virgin Islands community, in your college community that you will move on to down the road, right? And these help us all to understand too that we're trying to create these opportunities for all of us, for students to be engaging in healthy relationships, right? Healthy patterns of behavior, individual and shared responsibility. The idea that we're creating cultural competencies, creating open-minded, empathetic people that understand their own cultural identities, understand and appreciate the cultural identity of others, and hold that inclusive space for everyone, right? And it inspires students to frame your own inquiries, to pursue your own personal passions, and to set goals and have the persistence to achieve. And embedded in all of these IB learner profile traits is the IB mission at work. And none of these should be unfamiliar to anybody at this point in time. We've gone through the entire MYP and really strive to, in our classes and our lessons and our day-to-day interactions with one another in class, outside of class, to embody these in different ways and in different capacities. And all of us will, embrace and embody these at different levels and different forms, because we're all different. We all bring our own skills, our own values, our own experiences to them. So these really, really get at the heart of what we seek to cultivate in you as a student and what we try to embrace and embody as a culture and a community. Mr. Stocking, I'll turn it back over to you.
Thank you. We'll go on to the next slide. Oops. And you can keep right on going.
Okay, yeah, so there is continuity, right, in our programs, right? There's continuity of the curriculum, there's continuity in the activities that you're going to be doing, there's continuity in the traits and the skills and the qualities we seek for you to develop in yourselves, right? And now it's all coming to bear, right? The MYP prepared you to be a skilled learner in a variety of ways, embracing and embodying those ATL skills. I'm sure a few of you can probably say, man, I cannot tell you how many times I've heard the word ATL skill or collaboration skills or any of these number of things that we encounter every day in your MYP journey. I know that I am consistent in my class and all the other teachers are as well. Well, now it's coming down to bear, because now you're entering into the DP program, where, as Mr. Stocking said, we've developed these strategies and tools, and now you got to put them out there. You got to use them. You got to engage and hone them and continue to hone them in order to find that success that you envision for yourself in the DP program. All the work that you've done in your different subject groups, all that conceptual learning, all that contextual learning, all of those times that you had, why do I have to talk about identity and cultural identity again? Why do I have to figure out what change means in Spanish class and in English class, or what systems mean in science class or in INS class? Well, now it's all coming to bear. You've developed this conceptual understanding, this contextual understanding that's allowed you to be a big thinker, to be a thinker that can take these concepts right? These concepts are like the precision tools that help us to understand this complex world and help us to understand academics, which tries to help cultivate our understanding of this complex world. Well, now you develop these big ideas, these ability to transfer knowledge and understanding to different situations and scenarios. You've understood how you're relating to these different contexts that have guided your inquiry throughout the NYP. And all of these are now designed to prepare you to dive deep into the core surveys that you will be engaging in as a DP student, right? Your projects that we worked on through 10th grade, well, the 10th graders, you worked on the personal project, in the future, the community project as well. These personal projects relate directly to your extended essay, this ability to manage a year-long, 2-year-long project. Now, you've managed the personal project over a year, worked on all of those different ATL skills with Ms. Bump, myself, and your advisors. Well, now it's coming down to bear your CAS project, your TOK essays, your extended essay. The community project for future students will lead directly into your ability to manage big CAS projects. So with the NYP and the DP, though they're separate programs, though they are different in nature and what they're trying to do and what you're engaged in, there is continuity across both the programs. And those are laid out from the IB learner profile traits that you'll continue to embody and continue to be challenged to embrace and aspire to, the ATL skills, to your core understanding to develop in your different classes, and also to your NYP projects. All of these have kind of blended together to prepare you to be a holistic candidate and a holistic student ready to engage the DP. So stop.
All right, awesome, Mr. Rod. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Okay, as we move on from the NYP to the DP, and we get to the actual, what is the DP? It does represent a concurrency of learning. Like Mr. Rod just referenced, you're learning about change in systems in different classes. Same thing applies in the diploma program. In all of these groups and these subjects, you're learning similar concepts and applying them in different ways. You will take part in all 3 parts of the core: the extended essay, creativity, action and service, and theory of knowledge. And you'll have 3 subjects at a higher level and 3 subjects at a standard level. And we'll get into what that exactly entails here in a bit. Let's go start with the core here. Ms. Arpese is our TOK teacher. And if you want to say anything about TOK, Ms. Arpese, I'll put you on the spot if you'd like to chime in. But it does explore the nature across all disciplines. It's like learning about learning, essentially. And students in this area pick up critical thinking skills and then are able to apply it to all of the other courses. It really seeps into all of the other courses and lays that kind of foundation. This takes place in a core class. And for this class, you have to do a TOK essay and an oral presentation as well. Ms. Arpese, any other words?
Yeah, I'm happy to chime in. I actually wish that Sai and Yachime were still here, because they'd be my fantastic spokespeople for TOK as well. But yes, I've been teaching this course for many years, and for 10th graders, what you need to know about this course is that it's a course you get to come into. You have to take it. It's not an option, but it's a course you get to come into and just enjoy. You get to enjoy it. I do my very, very best, and the incoming teacher will do their very best to keep homework to a very, very minimum, meaning that if you use your time wisely during class, you don't have to take a lot of assignments home. We get to really ask really powerful questions. Why do we know what we know? Who owns knowledge? Are there things that are unknowable? All kinds of interesting things. The bottom line is that over the 2 years of taking this course, you will complete a presentation in grade 11, and you will complete a 1,600-word essay in grade 12. 1,600 words in the big scheme of all the things you're creating is a fairly small essay, and everyone here is very, very capable of doing it. We give you lots of time within class to complete these assignments, and you get to ask hard questions, have some fun, challenge your classmates. and really hopefully just enjoy the class. So I hope it's something that you'll throw yourself into, and it'll allow you to have fantastic conversations with colleagues, parents, partners, future bosses, college professors. It'll keep you on the edge of your seat.
All right, awesome. Thanks, Ms. Arpezi. Our next part of the core is the extended essay. This is the most feared part of the DP program because one of the reasons is it is a college level essay. So the students write a college level essay, which is hard. It's not easy. And typically students put it off. There's no other way to say it. They hold out on starting it and doing it and all those kind of things, and it eats away at them. So this, I believe, is the single most pointed to thing from graduates looking back and saying, oh, the extended essay helped me in college. Out of all the classes and everything, of course, you're going to learn lots of content in chemistry and physics and math and global politics and all those things. But the learning how to write a college level essay, many graduates come back and say, this was the biggest thing that helped me out. So don't underestimate this thing, please. I know Ms. Schlesinger is in charge of this, and she and Mr. Ott are going to need parents your support as they try to make this essay happen. You start this in grade 11 students, and then you'll finish it up in grade 12. It, like I said, it's an awesome thing. And the last part of core is the creativity, activity, and service. Similar to what you're doing now with your service in action. Lots of things count for it. We don't count hours anymore. We count experiences. So you have to show reflection in within 7 learning outcomes. And you basically carry on with the same types of activities that you do now in grade 10 and have done for years in this program. So you show record of that on ManageBack, and Mr. Campbell is the CAS coordinator as of right now. So I don't think I need to go into much detail about that. That's a wonderful part of the program. That's why it's part of the core. We can't underestimate these core classes within the IB, and that's definitely a part. Mr. Fisher, sure.
Yeah, I'll chime in for a quick second. Many of you students, you responded to the survey about our Student Life program on Wednesdays next year, and the opportunity for you to deliver or take on a student-led course or club as a part of that model. And many of you recognized early on, I can use that for my CAS project. So kudos to those who saw that. And if that's you or you're thinking about it, make sure you connect to Mr. Ott, to Mr. Campbell, to start thinking about what do I need to do right now between now and next school year to make sure I set myself up for success if I want to use that for my CAS project.
Absolutely. Thank you. Your CAS project is the big thing that you have to do for this outside of your regular learning experiences. So, and that does take, you should get that done in grade 11 as well. Okay, moving on to our subjects that you can choose from, or subjects offered. Here are all of the options all laid out for you. Again, students, you are going to get a Google Form survey with all of this information in it, and you will go through and select your final courses, okay? So we'll go through this next part of the presentation and talk briefly about what these classes have to offer. Maybe you're a little bit unfamiliar with some of this stuff, or maybe you'd like to think about it a little bit more, whatever the case may be. So the group 1 and group 2, we're not going to spend too much time on. That's English, studies in literature. We have an HL and an SL option. I told the grade 10 students this, I've given them to previous surveys leading up to this point, so I have a good idea of what they're interested in. But as far as HL, higher level and standard level English, we have never had anyone. We've never had anyone choose SL English, always HL English, because that is most generally the easiest one to get college credit for. So people choose that one. Then moving on to our language acquisition, we offer HL, SL, and Ab Initio Spanish. We also have some other options of the grade 10 we've never talked about before, and those are online options. However, families, those do come at an additional cost to you, which we'll get into here in a bit. They run total of about $2,500, but we've definitely had students in the past sign up for these, and they take the class, and that's all self-paced and those kinds of things coming from. It's called Pomoja, is our online, the only one that the IB recognizes that they cooperate with. Okay, moving on into some of our subjects here. I will start with math. That has typically had the most kinds of questions, although now I think that the IB, they made some changes a few years ago, and now they have this nice, neat system in place for these two classes that they offer: analysis and approaches, and applications and interpretation. And again, you will see this information later. I will share this slideshow with you so you can have access to this nice little chart here. But it tells you what areas of math get studied and how much in depth they go. So it really shows a clear difference. And I'll draw your attention to the big orange line in applications and analysis. If you look, that's statistics and probability. And that's the biggest difference. In applications, statistics gets covered quite a bit more. And if you look at analysis, I'll draw your attention to the darker blue graph, which is calculus. More time gets spent in calculus in analysis. Grade 10 students, you can sign up for whichever class you want, whichever one best suits your needs and your future aspirations. We can certainly talk to Ms. Ebbe Cook about college implications. We can talk to the math department about what the classes look like and how you might benefit the most from a class or the other. So all of those things are on the table that we can offer. Okay. Typically, not all the time, but typically students in extended will go into analysis. They'll choose analysis, and students in core will choose applications, although it really does not matter. You can choose either one and be successful in either one. Okay. I'm just going to pause for a quick second. And I know that this is generally a subject that gets a lot of questions. So I want to pause and ask, does anybody have any questions about math right now? Okay, I know I've talked to a few students individually about math, so hopefully all of your questions are answered. Okay, then we're going to move on to talk about some sciences. We'll start off with biology, possibly. There's a little bit of a lag here on my screen. Anyway, we're going to talk about biology and chemistry and physics. And for some reason, it keeps skipping right over biology. We're going to talk about these hard sciences first, kind of lump them together. This will be, we've offered chemistry in the past. We haven't had enough students interested to make it a go. It does seem with this cohort of students that we do have enough interest to make it a go. So that is very interesting for the school. And I'm going to leave it on this biology slide for just a second. And Mr. McLean, I'm going to ask you if you would like to pop in here to talk about sciences.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Mr. Stocking. Yes, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Joining in a little bit late, I was talking with our rising sixth grade families and talking to them about how they're going to be joining in the PGIA. And you're concerned about the DP. So let me say a couple things about the sciences in general and just what a tremendous program it is, especially in the sciences. Science is dear to my heart. I'm a former science teacher, and so my experience, I'll give a quick little talk about my experience coming from another college prep program as a teacher that has another two-letter acronym into the IB. When as a teacher coming into the IB, it was the most refreshing, heartwarming, and reinforcing program I've ever been exposed to, because I felt like they were doing the sciences just right. Previous schools, I had taught biology and physics and chemistry, and I felt more like a university professor in a 101 class where I just talked at kids for the whole 9 months. And I hope that they were good memorizers and could repeat back what I said to them. The IB takes same content as some of the other programs and doesn't slow down, but spends its time wisely and making sure that kids have a deep understanding of the content. They see how the content is connected between the sciences. They are able to collaborate with each other. They're able to have lab time. They're able to analyze data. They're able to have back and forth and rich discussions and come to a really strong understanding of how the sciences really interact and relate. And that is why in our MYP program, our students get slices of that biology, chemistry, and physics, so that they have a clear head set on what really interests them and where they want to specialize a little bit more. And as well, since those sciences, those big three sciences, as well as ES&S, are so interrelated. So in general, the sciences, I love teaching in the sciences in the IB course, because I just felt like it really got those connections and spent the time so wisely with that. And that's, of course, what kids always tell us when they come back from university is how well they're prepared for it. So the sciences that we do have, we've been offering biology for quite a while. It's always popular. Biology takes us all the way from inside the cell and our big macromolecules and DNA and proteins, and we start to look at how those molecules start to come together and interact, and how little changes in DNA can make a protein a different shape, and how that can give a different trait. And we start to build up to organisms and how they interact with each other, and you get to that environmental phase there. So we really do to some degree a micro to macro approach in biology. Physics is just a great hands-on course. It's a wonderful course because so much of it is so concrete and it happens right in front of you. The lab experience is very rich in that. It's scientists joke that physics labs work about 100% of the time. It's great. Chemistry labs work most of the time. Biology labs are always a little dicey. Physics is a great concrete science that talks about the basics of the universe and the laws that holds the universe together, and that we all abide by. Obviously, there's a component of mathematics that is threaded through physics, and that is something to take into consideration when students are choosing physics. Chemistry is the central science. Chemistry is the science that has a hand both in biology and physics, and it explains how those two fields are related. The chemistry that we're working through, so we go through the basics of atomic structure to periodic table to equilibrium, kinetics, organic chemistry. It's a rich deep dive into chemistry. All of these classes, I'll get to environmental systems and societies is the fourth one. I might be getting ahead of myself, Matt, sorry. But Environmental Systems and Societies is a really interesting course, and that one toggles Group 3 and Group 4. Group 4 is sciences, and Group 3 is the individuals and societies. And there's a few courses here and there in the IB where a course could fulfill the requirements of either group. This is one of them. Environmental Systems and Societies is a course that can count for Group 3 or Group 4. Environmental Systems and Societies is, in other words, environmental science. What does the ecology of the world, the environment of the world, how do humans interact with that world? It's a course that's rich in thought and discussion and talking about potential policies. Really drives to the human side of that interaction with sciences. So for students that have a mind of that want to get into more philosophical discussions and dive into those environmental topics a bit more, wonderful class for students with those attributes. All of these courses have a large lab component to them, where we ensure that our students are designing experiments. They are collecting data. They are analyzing that data. They're sharing that data. They are collaborating and evaluating and communicating that data across their classmates. So it is we're proud to be a small school, and it is quite amazing that we offer such a range of science courses. Definitely right course or right combination of courses for all of our students. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Mr. McLean. Excuse me. Definitely, I do want to bring up a point about ES&S. Thank you for speaking about that as well in the sciences. Grade 10 students, in the preliminary surveys that I gave so far, nobody was interested in this class. And that's fine. That's no problem. I would maybe caution you or encourage you to consider this class, to really give it some good thought as to if you want to take it or not. Okay, maybe you didn't really know what it was all about or something like that. But I'm not trying to sway you any kind of way. You can take it or not. It really doesn't matter to me. But I'll say that you should at least give it. It does warrant some consideration on your part. It's that kind of a class, especially relevant to where we're going as a society. Okay, now we get into Group 3, global politics. This is my wheelhouse. I've been teaching global politics for the last, 5 or 6 years. Great class. It's basically current events. It's recent history, the past 10 years, essentially. We look at stuff that's happening all over the world, and it's global. And sometimes, especially early on, people get scared of the word politics. However, everything that we do in our society is political in nature. It's just we sometimes don't think about it in those kind of ways. But it's basically how societies are functioning. What are the rules that we live with? What are the rules we want to live with? How do we all work together and make progress? And who defines that? Who gets to define that? We really focus on these core concepts here: power, inequality, sustainability, and peace. And looking at the imbalances in all of those things, learning how to research properly, learning how to create arguments, and in turn consider the counter arguments to everything, recognize the different perspectives on issues, which is a huge skill to get, and really look at the implications of those perspectives, which in my opinion is one of the most difficult skills to really do outside of an upper echelon math concept or science concept or something like that. That ability to recognize a different perspective and understand the implications of what that actually means, and to give it thought and consideration is a very difficult thing to do. And it is something that you pick up in this class. So I like this class. The next one is Digital Society, formerly ITGS. They've changed the name, or are changing the name for you this year. This is Information Technology and Global Society. I know that Ms. Hoffart has spoken to you extensively about what this class in particular looks like. So I guess I'll just ask, does anybody have any questions, grade 10 students? And if not, I'm just going to move on, because I do know that she has talked to you quite a bit about what this might look like, or what this does look like. And, Ms. Hoffart is an expert in this field, so really great educator there. All right, and now we're moving into group 6 and visual arts, which we talked about with Ms. Cornett. And like I said, in the preliminary surveys, interest for visual arts this year is fairly low, which is okay, no problem. Again, I would encourage you to consider it, and don't be scared. Every class in the DEP is challenging. There's no easy outs if that's what you're thinking. So I'll just throw that out there. I chose this picture. This is from Rohan's exhibition this year. I thought this was a pretty neat little takeoff for him, and his representation of him leaving Vimzia and shooting for the stars. Good digital piece of digital artwork there from Rohan. Dance with Miss Helen. In the preliminary surveys, again, many of you are interested in dance, which is great. Miss Helen loves a very rich and vibrant dance class, and lots of people moving around and all of that kind of stuff. Makes for a fun, interactive kind of class. And she really tailors it to students who want to become or are interested in choreography, performing, and seeking like a life enrichment kind of thing through dance. You definitely learn to appreciate some different dance styles, which in turn leads you to appreciate different cultures and traditions, which is every class in the IB. And grade 10 students, this was not on the preliminary surveys. However, something for you to consider that could be an option to you is DP Theater. Right now we have 3 grade 11 students in DP Theater: Natalia Figueroa, Destiny Donistorg, and Kai Lewis Eunice. And if you are interested in taking this course, you can definitely talk to them more about what it looks like and what it might be like. Again, a pretty interesting arts kind of class. Representing different concepts in different ways. You can, in visual arts, you can do that visually, and then in dance you can do it through movement, and in theater you can kind of combine the two. So pretty interesting choice. Okay, I know this is a lot. We're coming through to the home stretch here, so I appreciate everyone's attention and hanging with me here. So your 2-year timeline looks loosely like this. Grade 11, you start your college interest surveys, preparation, your research. I'm not going to lie, your top priority in this whole program is college stuff, right? You're going to have lots of big projects for class. You're going to have your regular assignments and tests and quizzes, and you have to do CAS and TOK and extended essay and all this stuff. College application stuff is your number 1 priority, right? I'm going to put Miss Ebbe Cook here not on the spot, but if you would like to chime in to speak to what that looks like, I can give you the opportunity here. If you want a few minutes to think about that, that's okay too.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine. Good night, everyone. I apologize for joining you late. For anyone who I don't know, my name is Cara Ebe Cook. I'm happy to serve as your college counselor in this capacity. So for grade 11s and grade 12s, I'll be working with you in that DP core component that Mr. Stocking was speaking about earlier. So with TOK, and then you have the college seminar course, which is a 2-year course baked into your schedule, where we do the very things that you're seeing here on this screen. So lots of assessments about your interests and goals and strengths and things like that, learning about components of college application, timeline process, and really gathering all of your materials and understanding what kind of story that it is you want to tell in pursuit of life after high school, which can look a lot of different ways for a lot of different people. So that's kind of the college seminar piece. There were a few other items, Mr. Stocking, that I just wanted to share in listening to the presentation. Is it fine to say that now?
Absolutely, please.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I don't think Sai or Yashime are still on the call. I was driving as I heard them speaking. Dangerous, don't be like me. But I want to shout them out. You all, they articulated beautifully. I'm just so happy to be able to work with them. And a lot of people are saying this, but I encourage you to really take a balanced approach when you're thinking about the courses that you want to choose and the schedule that you want to build out. So colleges that understand the IB and know the IB, they know that you have these groups for a reason. That is why it's being presented to you this way as these choices. So I encourage you to think a little bit deeper about that. There's also 2 articles that I'm going to share with Mr. Stocking. I know he said he's going to share this presentation afterward. So maybe you can also include these 2. One is about the way college admissions was speaking about the math courses. So has it been 2 years now that we have the new math? But it's a really interesting article. It's timeless, where you hear reps talking about the courses and the types of students that might consider taking either course. I think it's very helpful insight. And there's another article that gives you an idea about the way colleges perceive the different courses that you can take from a college credit perspective. So we get that question a lot, and it's very hard to answer it right now. But for people who are kind of wondering, oh, should I maybe take this as HL versus this as SL, or what should I choose? Another tool to kind of help you decide. And then of course, we as your staff people are here to help you as well. And I think Mr. Stocking will speak more about that too in your course selection. So thank you again. I look forward to working with you in college seminar and beyond. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks for stepping in there, Ms. Ebeka. Really appreciate that. Again, great resource at your disposal, grade 10, and families, of course, right there. So going back to your 2-year timeline here, and some things that I really want to highlight here for you. Like we've said, the DP is it's nonstop. It's pretty rigorous. All of the classes are like that. So it is really crucially important for you early on in the first semester of grade 11 to create successful time management strategies that work for you. If you're a procrastinator, that's how it goes. People procrastinate, that's fine. Find some management strategy that works for you to where you can still get stuff done as much as possible, okay? That is, hugely important, because if you let things build up in this system, there is no time to make it up. It just doesn't exist. So if you think, oh, I'm just going to do that later, well, guess what? You're going to have another assignment, and then another assignment, and then another assignment. And then you have too many and your head explodes. So, don't get to that point. Stay stay on the path there and really consider those time management strategies. And then, that goes hand in hand with any academic strategies that work for you, any kind of learning techniques that work for you. So your first semester is the time that you need to get those things in order, okay? And make sure you know how to use those things so you can be successful as you go on through the program. And then looking into grade 12, you start the college admission process, which will be very extensive. You'll be going on your visits and all that kind of stuff. And then later on in February, you have your practice, we call those mock exams. And then in May, you wrap up with your actual DP exams and you're all done, which is where our seniors are at. They're getting to that point right now. Working backward a little bit, some keys to success here. Clear focus, all out effort, variety of strategies, allies, and learning. This is it. This is the template for success, okay? And you should really focus on these things and having them there. And like I said before, the all out effort part is no lie. It doesn't matter what your ability level or what you think your ability level is. And if you put in the effort, you will be successful, on some level. So the IB education in general, as we've talked about, and like Ms. Cook just referenced, Sai and Yashime spoke beautifully to all of this, and how they were talking about art. It is going to prepare you for success in college. I referenced earlier the students graduated that have graduated not just from the PGIA, but in the IB. They continually point to the extended essay as the most helpful thing. And they go in to college and say, and look around at their peers and say, I can write a college level essay. I've done it already. And their peers have not and are not prepared. So, at that time, that gives them some extra confidence and all of those kind of things. And because, it's hard, it's rigorous, that demand does prepare you for college courses. And, that's just one of the things that comes with the IB in general. You can see here from some graphs provided by the IB itself, graduation rates by institution type, DP cohort and non-DP cohort. The contrast is pretty clear. I mean, it's a hard program for a reason. And when students finish, they get a lot of reward out of the program. So can't understate that at all. Our educational journey here, an overview, and I'll invite members, if anybody would like to speak to any of these ideas or concepts, please chime in here. But here at VMSIA, we take kids all the way through from the Montessori program that encourages student-based learning for all of you students that have been here through our Montessori program, and hands-on learning as much as possible. Going on into the MYP program, which many of you have gone through. You've developed skills that you will need, you'll take with you, into the DP and beyond in life. That they focus on concepts and ideas and issues across disciplinary, right? This idea of the breadth of the IB program itself, like Ms. Ebeko just said, they present all of these options to you, so you choose a range of classes because they know that learning happens like that for people. And then grades 11 and 12, the final step there, which you all are coming into, is the academic rigor, get you ready for university. And beyond that, really, your chosen profession. Would anybody like to say anything more to that?
No, I can add, thank you, Mr. Saki. I can add just a little bit to it. I've worked with the IB and the diploma program for the last 8 or 9 years. It is every single year when students come back after, and they come back in their freshman year of university, and they come back and visit, every single IB student comes back and says how thankful they were for doing the IB program. I personally have a daughter who just graduated with the IB program, and she's a freshman at University of Hawaii right now. She got credit for a number of classes, she, I wouldn't say it's easy from her, but honestly, that's the word she just used to me the other day. She, Dad, freshman year has been easy because of my experience in the IB and what the skills I went through there. The writing skills, the research skills that kids get, they are head and shoulder above their counterparts at the university level when they get there. IB courses are rigorous, they're vigorous courses. And one of the great benefits of the IB is that when students get to university and they get to that freshman year, they might have to take a chemistry class. They might have to take a global politics class. They're going to have to take a math class. And they have already seen that information, that concept, that class at a really high level already. Guess what? So it's not the first, you don't want to walk into a chemistry classroom the first time you've ever seen chemistry is at a university level. It is the greatest preparatory program for colleges. Colleges know that. That's why they accept IB students at roughly twice the rate of non-IB students. Because universities know that these kids already have, these students have the skills to be successful at the university. Universities want successful students. It's an easy pick for a university to go out and accept those IB students because they know what they're bringing to the table. And they also know, universities know that IB students are going to do more than just go to class and go back home to their dorm and study all day. They're students that have, especially at a Montessori and Vimsia school, these are students that are going to be active members of their community. They're going to be involved. They're going to be participating in activities. They're going to enrich those universities. This is just I've seen a lot of programs. This is just an absolutely tremendous program. I've seen it as a professional, and I've seen it in my own family.
I would like to just to add on to what Mr. McLean said and what Mr. Stocking had kind of mentioned as well. Is it going to be hard? Is it going to be rigorous? The courses that you're going to be engaged in and involved in, of course it is, right? And as Mr. McLean said, there is no better course and path for you to realize the vision and the goals that you have for yourself for university and beyond than by going through the diploma program. And as you're considering your courses and you're considering what are my HL and SL combinations, do I want to do, a dance or visual arts or a theater? Do I want to do this or that course? Don't worry so much about the challenges of the course. They're all going to be challenging. I would have you consider this quote, and I think with some of you 10th graders, I shared it with you, at some points along the way over the last few years, right? This quote that to get something you've never had, you have to try something that you've never done. So don't be afraid to challenge yourself to grow. Each of these courses are going to really, really challenge you to grow as an individual, as an academic, as a balanced thinker and responsible, individual that owns your own learning. And I would also say that you can see just in this progression, so many of you have gone through the Montessori, through the MYP, and now are about to embark on your 11th and 12th grade career, right? And this gets to the things that aren't necessarily just academic courses. These are our student life options, building your CAS projects, working on your extended essay and your TOK essays, right? This program is designed, just as our vision and our philosophy says at the school, it's designed to challenge you to realize your potential intellectually and academically, but also socially, emotionally, and physically, right? And I want you to be sure you embrace all of those aspects of your DP journey. and embrace them and lean into them, because schools, as Mr. McLean had said, they understand the value of that IB diploma. They understand the value of an IB education. They understand the rigor of the academics, but universities are also looking for well-rounded, holistic candidates that have engaged themselves academically and intellectually, but also socially, emotionally, and in the community around them. So embrace this journey. It's going to be hard, but you all are going to do fantastic on it. And we're here to support in any way we can on that journey. Thank you.
I'll add one last piece myself here. Ladies and gentlemen, most things in life, if not all things in life that are really worth doing, are challenging. And yeah, it's going to be challenging. You're going to look back at these 2 years and say, wow, I did that. I also want you to know you're not doing it alone. You are part of a family, and you have a whole group of people on this screen, adults on this screen. Our number one mission over the next 2 years of your life is to support you and help you get there. So don't go into this thinking I got to take it all on my shoulders by myself. Reach out early, reach out often, and allow us to support you and help you over the next 2 years, because we are not going to let a single one of you fail. It's just, we're not going to allow it. So know it's going to be hard. Know we're here with you, and we look forward to the next couple of years of your journey.
Ms. Abbey, I see your hand up.
Thank you. So I will be very brief. I won't restate anything my colleagues have just shared. I echo all of that. But you guys, this is really the time, I say this a lot in college seminar, where the work that you do is going to be different from the work of the person next to you. So you're taking similar courses. Yes, you're moving through the coursework together, but this is really a simulation for, right, beyond VIMSIA. Okay, so I will use the quote a lot: comparison is the thief of joy. Okay, so really focusing on what is right for you in this moment, in this time, playing to your strengths, playing to your goals. Okay, so don't be afraid to seek someone out and say, hey, I'm thinking about this, but nobody else said that. You're probably not wrong. Okay, we're here to validate you. So dabble in what is interesting to you, go down your road. At least the work you do with me, everybody's doing something virtually unique and different. So don't be afraid of that, and accept and embrace that.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you for all those words of wisdom and helpful tips and everything. I know the students and families really appreciate all of those ideas. I will say, grade 10 students, I wish I was going on this journey with you, but I will not. I do know that you're in very good hands with my colleagues here on the screen. So I wish you the best of luck in the future. And going from here, I will send out the Google form survey for you to fill out. And families and students, I encourage you to have like a very healthy conversation about your choices. Like everyone just said, give courses a good consideration. Really think about what you want, what your goals are, and all of those kinds of things, and then make your final choice. So from here, though, this survey doesn't represent things that are set in stone. All right, your choices can still change. It's okay. It's no problem. This gives us a very good idea of where to proceed next. Okay, so I'll say that some of you will fill this out and will say, okay, that looks pretty good, and no problem. These are your courses. Some of you will fill it out. I'm going to say that if you choose 2 hard sciences, we'll give you a mandatory meeting, and we'll really talk about that and pull some other people in and get some other perspectives on that to make sure that's the right fit for you, which, if that's what you want, hopefully it is. And then there might be some other people there as well that will call in for a meeting to talk about a little bit more in depth. Okay, so those are the next steps. And then, like I said, I'll also send you an email sharing this presentation and Ms. Ebbe Cook's college seminar items. Okay. Parents, families, students, do you have any thoughts, ideas, questions? I know it's getting late. Grade 10 students and families, I know we just come and talk at you here for a while, so I appreciate you staying engaged and taking the time to listen. Good luck in your choice selections. If you have questions, please reach out immediately. And even, if you want to have a 2-hour conversation, great. If you want to have a 5-minute conversation, that's fine. Doesn't really matter. Everything's on the table, okay? And we want to make sure that you feel comfortable going into this program, okay?